Hey guys, Sunny Butchers here. Today I come to you with a bit of a surprise drop because I thought, you know what, Patreon has been online for almost 3 years, and some of you have been around for 3 years. There's been people, subscribing a couple of months ago, a couple of weeks ago even. But I thought, you know what, a lot of things have happened in these 3 years, so I should touch base with you guys and talk to you a little bit about um, what has been going on, what is about to go on. So let's talk past and future. So if you have a couple of minutes, and if you're curious about, the future of this platform and the future of my work, basically, I'm gonna try to do this in one take. So I've got nothing but some mental notes that I want to talk about. But yeah, if you don't mind listening to my rambling for a couple of minutes, then welcome aboard. Thank you so much for tuning in. And of course, as always, thank you so much for your continued support on my Patreon platform. Now, why is this a surprise drop? And why did I decide to come to you with everything I'm about to come to you with right now? Some people of you already know that last year I finally managed to get myself a literary agent on one of my manuscripts. And it's obvious that that has implications on, the work that I was doing at that very moment. I was working on the Singularian, pushing out, episodes every month, so writing stories, getting these illustrations done, producing them into paperback format, and then reformatting them all into the hardcover book by the end of the year. But you can tell already by the way I'm sort of summing these things up that the Singularian has been a huge, humongous pile of work. So when I got that literary agent for another manuscript that I had been working on, even behind the scenes of the Singularian, the work just starts piling up, and obviously I want the Patreon platform, but also, on a personal level, I want to work in a sustainable way, so that I can also keep providing you with stuff that is worth your money and time, obviously, but also in a way that allows me to continue working, continue, making cool stuff. But obviously also spending the time I need to spend on that manuscript that is now agented, so that hopefully this year that manuscript can go into submission to publishers, to be published. So that has been a huge, huge part of my work in the last year. So that's kind of why I decided to dial back a bit on the Singularian. Finished up the second season. Although that said, the Singularian universe is far from over, it's far from done. Because there is a manuscript, like a novel manuscript, a prequel laying around in my archive. So there is still a lot of open doors there. So it won't end. It's not like a definitive ending to the universe, but I needed to dial back down on that a little bit. But yeah, so there was the Singularian, and then there was suddenly the manuscript that needed work for the literary agent. And then the last 8 to 9 months, I've been busting ass on a very, very cool project together with MK Gibson, which is the Technomancer book. And some of you were even subscribed to that this year. So by now you should all have received your hardcover edition of the book. You should have received an art print. There was plenty of stuff surrounding or revolving around the Technomancer stuff. So yeah, the last couple of years have been stupidly busy, but only with good stuff. But obviously, like I said, I want to continue with all this in a sustainable way. So the last couple of years I did a bit of crunching, which, short term is fine, long term, maybe not. So I thought, you know what, I need to make some changes in the Patreon platform to make sure that I can continue this in a healthy way and also in a fun way that is more and more going to involve you as a community, as an art community as well. So what I kind of want to do is I want to explain to you what the new tiers will be that you can subscribe to. Although that alone is kind of typical me, because what did I know when I started the Patreon platform is that I just created tiers. You can subscribe to them, and then each year the new content came, I created new tiers. Anyway, long story short, Patreon does not allow you to change the monthly subscription fees for your tiers. So basically, at this point, I am stuck with 5 tiers, of which the budgets are set. And I cannot really delete them, I cannot really change them. I can only rename them, and I can only add or remove or like change the content of the actual tiers. So lucky me, I have 2 tiers of $3 and I have 3 tiers of $10, which makes no sense at all. So I spent a couple of weeks trying to actually make sense of it. And I think I actually came up with something good. So I want to take you through what the new Patreon is going to look like from September and onwards into the future, however long that future will last. So first of all, what I basically did is I split off the written part of my work from the artistic part of my work. So there will be 2 tiers based on written stuff, tier 4 and 5. I will explain that later. And then the first 3 tiers will be based purely on my artwork. So let's start with written work, because that's basically just a short story, pun intended. So tier 5 will be a tier of $3 per month or €3 per month. They sort of measure that and calculate it into whatever currency you're using, obviously. But the $3 tier will provide you with the entire Singularian narrative. You will receive a digital episode of the story every month for 24 months. So that's 24 episodes. After these 2 years, you will automatically become subscribed to the $3 art tier, because obviously the story is finished for now after 24 months. So that'll give you 2 years of story content. After that, if you still want to be my patron, if you still want to support my work, you will, enter the art realm, which is also pretty cool. I will get to that later. So $3 for monthly episodes. Now, I know a lot of people also kind of want to get their hands on paperbacks. They're like tactile people, so they want to touch something, they want to smell the book, they want to leaf through the pages. And I thought, you know what? I've been crazy enough actually to reformat all the paperbacks, the small paperbacks, into 4 proper volumes. So with tier 4, which is $10 per month, you get one of those proper like paperback books with the first or every 6 chapters of the Singularian every 3 months. So 4 times per year you will get a Singularian paperback, all the way, collecting season 1 and season 2. So you will get all 24 episodes split across 4 different paperbacks, which will last a year. After that year, you will be subscribed to the second tier, so the $10 tier for artwork. So if after 1 year, again, if you still want to be my patron and if you still want to support my work, you will automatically go to the art department, and you can continue the fun from there. Right, so that was the written work. 2 tiers, paperbacks or ebooks, done. And awesomeness, right? I mean, that's just moving on. So then we have 3 tiers left. We have 1 tier of $3.50, which will completely go into the artwork. So I've been experimenting a lot with community feedback, with polls, with questioning you guys, like, what do you want to see? What would you like me to make? What would you like me to create? And actually, I found that a lot of fun. And I think based on the feedback that I got on social platforms, where I asked those questions, I kind of got the vibe that that is also something that you guys enjoy. So I've decided to integrate that more into the Patreon platform. So I will be hosting art polls every month, every couple of weeks. And then based on what the result is of that poll, that is a piece of art that I will start creating. And in your $3.50 tier, you will receive the full resolution art piece that is a result of that, community happening. which you can do with whatever you want to do. If you want to print that, if you want to send it to a printing company and get it printed for your wall, perfect. If you just want to look at it and enjoy some artwork on your screen, perfectly fine. But that is like the whole community activity on Discord, on social platforms, on the Patreon platform itself. That is all included within that tier. So that's pretty cool. Then there is another tier, which is $10. And that will give you pretty much everything that I just, told you. Plus, 4 times a year, so every 3 months, you will receive a fine art print, an actual print that's sent to your home. And I know some of you have already seen the quality of these prints, and I sometimes still can't believe myself that I managed to work together with a company that creates stuff this good. I partnered up with a company called Prodigy, and they are a British company that is also responsible for the art prints in the museum shops of museums like the Natural History Museum, the National Maritime Museum, the National Gallery. So they are big. They create proper quality art prints, really good colors, beautiful paper. So those kind of prints, so 30 by 40 centimeters. I still don't know what that is in inches or whatever feet, thumbs, or strobe waffles, whatever you guys use on the other side of the pond, to measure. They're big. They're like 2 pieces of normal printing paper. They're big. Solid size. Anyway, so you get a really nice art print based on the art pieces that I created through those polls. 4 times per year, you can choose which one you want to receive. So I will be setting all that up through the Patreon platform. And then, again, you will be part of the community on Discord, on Patreon. You're going to be a lot more involved with what I'm doing, which I think is actually great fun. I really personally enjoy that. And then there is this special story of the first tier, which is $10, $50, or like $11. It's like super close to what the previous tier is. But because I was stuck with these numbers, I had to do something crazy. And you know what? At some point I was just thinking about, okay, so what can I do with this? And what I thought is, okay, so you get everything. You get like premium stuff. You get early access to videos that I upload. You get early access to behind the scenes footage. You get early access to the member polls, which is all fun and games. But I also want to give you something really, really exclusive for that $1 extra that you're paying me. Now, it might look a bit weird because you pay more, but you receive less if you like just look at what the tier description says. But instead of 4 prints, you get 2 art prints. However, these 2 art prints you get will have like a lot more value because those will be limited edition gold or silver foil art prints. Now, obviously, these cost a lot more to produce. So that is why you will then only receive 2 prints per year instead of 4. So really, this tier 1 is very much for the collectors. People who want exclusive stuff, that's limited edition, that's numbered, that's signed, all that kind of stuff. So the price difference is not so big, but you will get a bit less, but then the stuff is just worth more, literally. So those will be the new tiers, right? So 2 tiers for the books, 3 tiers for the artwork, and then based on what you prefer to receive or what you prefer to support me with, that is stuff that you can choose from. Now, I know that just by listening to me, I don't know if you guys are still keeping track of what I'm saying. I do hope so. I do hope that I've sort of managed the skill to explain stuff to you. But, of course, I will also be updating the tiers, and I will post a sort of roadmap or an overview of the different tiers pretty soon on Patreon. So you can, just take your time, take a look, and scan through, what do you prefer, what would you like to do. If you want to change tiers, that's perfectly fine. It's up to you. I'm just providing you with the stuff that you can choose from. So that said, I really hope that this one-take video wasn't too long or too convoluted or too confusing, or I don't know. If you managed to keep watching this video up until now, thank you so much. You are a true supporter. So thank you very much. Yeah, I hope to see you guys around on both the Patreon platform. If you are not part of the Discord yet, do join us. We are with about 40 members, I think, at the moment. So it's, you know, the community is starting to get going. We get some interactions going, we get polls going. So become part of the conversation, become part of the journey, which you have already basically been. So again, thank you very much for that. If you have ideas that you would really like to see, you know, included in any of these tiers, please do reach out, because I'm always open for good ideas. I mean, you know how to get in touch with me, right? You can get on Twitter, you get on Facebook, you can even message me on Patreon directly. It's all in your hands. It's really all in your hands. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you so much for your continued support, and I will be seeing you around. Bye!